Okay, so I have my island digitized. I've added some streams, and I want to add my attributes and be able to calculate the area of my islands. Now, the problem here is that I wanted to show you is ArcMap had a number of problems where you get stuck and it'd be hard to tell what was going on and why you couldn't do something. ArcGIS Pro appears to have gotten rid of some of those and added some new ones. So, like right now, if I try to add a new field, I can't, and it doesn't tell me why. It just kind of flashes at me. And don't be too surprised if this happens. This is the kind of thing that they really should fix and make it easier to use. If you went and searched on the web, you might find a solution to this, but it took me a little bit. And what I saw was, if you look carefully, there's a little exclamation mark that appears over here next to my streams, and then it disappears. So if you're not quick, you might miss that. And what I found out was, because we have create open, that's actually preventing us from adding an attribute. And that was even with editing all my edits saved. So once I went ahead and closed that, I got my attribute field editing panel up, and now I can go ahead and add a couple of new attributes. One for my name of my islands, and another one for the area. And there's my double for that. And then go ahead and save those, close it. And there are sort of these modes. ArcMap had very clear modes. You can only edit your attribute table when you're outside of it, a spatial edit session. And then when you could only edit spatial data when you weren't adding fields to your attribute table. A little bit of that seems to be left inside of ArcGIS Pro. Okay, so now we have our area. And now we can right click and do calculate geometry, and then go over here and pick area. Now you will get different options over here based on the type of data. So when I go ahead and run this on my islands, I will go ahead and get area. Now notice I didn't pick an area unit, and that was a bad thing. I should go ahead and pick an area unit, because otherwise, especially without having the coordinate system specified, which we really need to specify something there, if it will let us. Okay, I'm going to pick UTM. But also my data is in geographic, so I'm not really going to trust these values. We really need to be working in UTM, which we'll learn about next week. For right now, this is fine. In the future, we'll be working in projected system whenever we're doing calculations. Also, notice that when we do our trees, let's do the streams. Attribute table, we can do the same thing where we add fields. There it worked. Okay, so with this, we would do a length of the streams. And then again, we want to make sure we do a double. Okay, and go ahead and close that. Close it without save. Okay, and now we've got length, and now notice that when we do calculate geometry, it's going to give us different options here. We now have a length instead of an area, because this is a polyline instead of an area, instead of polygons. And there you go. Now, when we go ahead and save this, which looks like it's already saved, then we should have everything ready to go in our shapefiles. And we can close ArcGIS. And it's always a good idea to close it and then reopen it, load the shapefiles, make sure the data is still